Hello, viewers. Do you prefer hockey or football? Okay, sorry to disappoint you, but we're not going to be talking about these sports. Instead, the harm that's most closely related to these activities is the topic at hand. The topic of today's discussion is the 8 warning signs of a concussion. Do headaches qualify? How about throwing up? What does it matter if I slur my words? I've been drinking a bit. We're going to discuss all these warning signs and more. So let's start with number 1, vision issues. A traumatic brain injury frequently results in vision impairment in the victim. This could indicate anything from double vision to blurriness to real vision loss. The muscles and nerves that surround your eyes are harmed after a head injury. Convergence insufficiency, a condition in which both eyes are unable to coordinate their efforts in order to focus on close objects, occurs at this point. Even a simple task like reading is challenging because it's tough to even make out the text on the page. Sooner or later, a headache will result from this strain on your eyes. Athletes who sustain concussions frequently develop this syndrome. Do you have any concerns regarding your general health before we go any further? Well, probably a good idea to watch what you consume. Check out our most recent video, 15 food combinations that could be dangerous for you, for more information. Click on our video detailing 5 reasons why your body hurts in the morning if you've been experiencing a variety of aches and pains in the morning. In the meantime, let's get back to our list of the first 8 concussion warning signs. Moving on to number 2, headache. Now, we're aware that there are numerous causes of headaches. There are times when the loud music coming from your neighbor is enough to give you a headache. However, a headache could be a sign of a concussion if you engage in vigorous activities, especially ones where your brain is susceptible to damage. One of the most typical indications of a brain injury is a headache. One of the side effects mentioned by more than 30% of concussion victims is a persistent headache. This refers to discomfort that might endure for a year or more. Headaches may develop after a head injury as a result of blood or fluid inside the skull. This might also be the result of a change in your brain brought on by your trauma. Your regular activities are impacted in several ways by a headache brought on by a traumatic brain injury. This encompasses your capacity for thought, everyday function, and memory of significant information. This brings me to my next point, which is number 3, amnesia. A person may have what medical experts refer to as post-traumatic amnesia after suffering a brain injury. You become disoriented in this state and find it difficult to recall both important events and fundamental knowledge. This trauma causes a wide range of emotions, such as perplexity, anger, anxiety, and sadness. A sufferer has occasionally been observed embracing those around him. Some people you have loathed for so long might now be met with kindness and compassion. Other people in your life could also slip your mind. This entails that people you've known as friends or family since infancy could suddenly become strangers. Post-traumatic amnesia is unpredictable and can last anywhere from a few minutes to a few months, like most of the other warning indicators on this list. Number 4, sensitivity to light. Nearly 50% of those who have experienced brain trauma claim to have a visual issue. Light sensitivity, commonly referred to as photosensitivity, is a vulnerability to strong lights of any kind, including fluorescent lighting. As part of post-concussion syndrome, or PCS, this symptom may linger for a long time. Have you ever spent a lot of time in the dark and then walked into a bright room? How uneasy were you feeling? Well, this is a persistent reality for people who have experienced brain damage. In fact, this is the second most typical sign of a brain injury. While there aren't any treatments for photosensitivity, you can buy specialized tinted glasses to help. Avoid attempting to wear regular sunglasses inside. It's ineffective. Your eyes will only get more sensitive as a result. Number 5, fatigue. You might experience chronic tiredness if you have a traumatic brain injury. Now, although most of us get weary throughout the day, concussion patients often have an overwhelming want to sleep. Your brain uses less energy after your head's been injured than it would otherwise. Even getting up and going to the bathroom can feel like a laborious task. Small, pointless endeavors can make you feel drained and sleepy. It's best to speak with a doctor if you're experiencing this kind of weariness so they can advise you on your next steps. Number 6, dizziness. Even something as basic as getting up from the couch can cause confusion in someone who suffered a severe head injury. After rising, if you find it difficult to maintain your equilibrium, well, this could indicate a concussion. Have you ever had a head injury and then seen stars? Well, dizziness frequently goes hand in hand with vision impairment. It's usual to experience double vision or blurry vision. You might want to see a doctor if you just had a concussion and are experiencing severe dizziness. Or, when engaging in physical exercise, go more slowly. Number 7, ears ringing. You might have ringing in your ears after sustaining a concussion. Now, despite being frightening, a sudden ringing of any type is one of the most prevalent warning indicators. Do you know what tinnitus is? After injury to the ear or hearing nerves, tinnitus is characterized as ringing, buzzing, or hissing in the ears. As a person ages, it may also come organically. In either case, 15 to 20% of people are reported to be affected. Unfortunately, this ringing frequently occurs at odd times. Your ears are vulnerable as a result of your head injury, making them sensitive to even the smallest sounds. Imagine yourself in a crowded setting, like a restaurant or theater. Your ears suddenly start to ring as soon as a tiny sound enters them. If you hear this bothersome ring, try to stay away from noisy areas for a bit. Wear earplugs if you do choose to visit these places. And finally, number 8, unsteady speech. Being in a conversation with someone who can't comprehend you might be difficult at times. If you've had a concussion, the severity of this issue increases. Slurred speech is a typical brain injury warning symptom. Patients may find it challenging to appropriately compose words. The muscles that control speech deteriorate after a head injury. This results in dysarthria, a condition. It's a word used in medicine to describe difficult to understand slurred or sluggish speech. The inability to express your ideas clearly may be a hindrance, but there are ways to get through it. If you're having trouble with this, try speaking more slowly. Your vocalizations will sound clearer. Avoid engaging in any activities that don't require immediate attention in the interim. You want to save as much of your physical and mental resources as you can. Many concussion victims find the idea of sleep frightening. This is mostly because people have the impression that if they sleep for too long, they can become unconscious and go into a coma. Now, while a coma is a risk that should be considered for these individuals, the likelihood that it will occur is highest in the first few hours after the accident. Following that, you're advised to take a break for 48 to 72 hours. Now, have you ever suffered from a concussion? Do these symptoms exist? Tell us in the comments section below. We'd be thrilled to hear from you.